You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Looking forward, as always, to today's show. Today's show is our Training Thursday, where we're going to talk about cold weather workout routines. So, in Boston, Massachusetts, where my practice is located and where I live with my family as well, it is already starting to get a little chilly. Even when it's in the 60s here, it's still starting to feel like fall. And we've had a few days that have been in the 50s and a few nights and early mornings that I'm an early to rise kind of guy. Walked out of my house, 39 degrees actually. This was when I was in Maine about 2 weeks ago. Really, really crisp. That's cold. So here's the thing. Your workout programs actually should change throughout the year. I've talked about this a little bit. I've talked about how they change a little as we age. But one of the nice things is that for a lot of people who are in colder weather climate, meaning like you're just not at the beach every day, that's what we're talking about essentially right now, is that your workout programs can start to shift and it can allow you to actually get better results. I'll tell you why. Too many of us, myself can be included with this, we start to get into these routines that we just like. We're comfortable with them. The exercises are fun. And we just start to move along that path. And, one program becomes another. It blends into another. Next thing you know, it's 4 months. And we've been doing the same types of exercises. Now, again, better to exercise than not to do anything. But if you could tweak it to make it a little bit better, to challenge your body in a new way, you'll absolutely get better results. So that's what I want to share with you today is that we can really make the fall and into this winter a little bit more. Well, we'll put it this way. It's going to set us up for our best spring and summer next year. And I know that seems like far away, but I'm telling you right now, all the best athletes, all the best bodybuilders, all the best models that I work with all do the same exact thing. Because you don't plant a seed and expect it to literally sprout the next day, right? We're planting earlier in the spring to get that summer, fall harvest. And we're planting right now a lot of times in the fall to get that spring flower. So that's what we're looking at. Your body takes time to change. It takes time to grow. I always like to look at things in 12-week periodization models. So really, if we're looking at this as the end of October, we have November, December, January. Okay, that's 12 weeks. Then we have March, April, May. There we go. That's 2 12-week cycles that we could be into. 6 months. I know it seems crazy, but once we're through May, that's summer. And again, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, although we New Englanders tend to do that. Once it starts to get cold, we're already looking forward to the warm weather again. It's funny. And then when it's summertime, we're always complaining about how hot and humid it is. There's only, I think, 3 or 4 weeks that we New Englanders actually like per year. But what all kidding aside, what I'm trying to say is that I want you to actually, whether you're in a warm climate or a cold climate, start to shift your workout right now, okay? Here's what we need to do. We need to change our warm-up first, and I'm going to tell you how your actual bulk of your workout should change. So whenever it's a little cooler outside, we have to be more careful of injury. If anybody likes to watch sports, whether it's football or American soccer, or whether it's American football, which I enjoy watching on Sundays, my New England Patriots, or it's even baseball later in the season as they get into September, October, what you see is a lot more injuries. And the reason you're seeing more injuries is that players get cold, meaning they warm up before the game, but then they're on the sideline and they're waiting and their bodies are getting stiff and they're getting cold. I want to make sure that you don't get injured. I want to make sure that you don't get taken out of your own game, because if you do, you lose those results. And as we get older, we lose them much faster. So here's what I want you to do. I actually want you to start your workout with a little bit more layers. And I don't care if you're doing a spin class or you're doing a personal training session or you're doing a boot camp or you're doing a run, whatever it is. I want you to put some layers on, okay? And as you start to break that first sweat, then you can start to strip off a layer or two or start to get yourself then thoroughly warmed up. You should feel more pliable before you start to strip some of those layers off. And then I also want you to do a general warm-up. I'm usually not an advocate of general warm-ups because we only have so much time in the day. But a general warm-up would be like getting on a treadmill and just walking, getting some core temperature built up. Or be getting on an upright bike, which I'm more a fan of rather than going for a run. just to save the knees and ankles just for that, abrasion. So that would just get the blood pumping. This is only 5 minutes. I'm not talking a long time. 5 minutes. If you're a little older, a little stiffer, then you can do it for 10. And then you get into your dynamic warm-up. Now, your dynamic warm-up is what we always start with at my two studios. And the dynamic warm-up is it's getting your body to move in space in all three planes of motion. So it's forward and back, side to side, and then transverse plane, which is just the rotational plane. So when you're moving in those three planes, it allows your body to then prep for a real workout. And that's going to include things like presses and pulls and squats, lunges, deadlifts, step-ups, as you like to hear me say on previous Training Thursdays. So that's your dynamic warm-up. Let me give a few examples. Okay, you can even just type in dynamic warm-up on StephenCabral.com/podcast and dynamic warm-up. My exact dynamic warm-up will pop up for you. So what is a dynamic warm-up? Well, it could be something as easy as a backwards lunge, just body weight. It could be a plank. It could be hand walkouts. It could be reverse flies with a band to work on your posture and open up your chest. It could be a transverse plane lunge. It could be an overhead squat. It's so many different things that you could do. But what we're trying to do is prep our body to do actual work with weights then. Okay, now when you get into your weight workout, I'll explain exactly how that should change for the season. Your specific warm-up is actually doing one set of the 2 or 3 or 4 sets that you're going to do per exercise. And the first set will just be a little lighter. That's all. So again, you're just getting your body warmed up. Let's say you can do a 100-pound squat. Your first set, you might start with like 60 pounds, all right? So you're just kind of doing 60% of your max, and then you can work up to your 100 pounds by that last set if you'd like. Okay, so now I've explained how you just easily warm your body. Now again, this might sound like a lot. It takes 5 to 10 minutes maximum. And trust me, 5 to 10 minutes as a fail-safe to make sure that you stay in the game, that you don't get injured, that you keep getting results month after month. Really, really important. Okay, how will your actual workouts change? Like, why is there a cold weather workout program? Well, again, it's called a periodization model. I've actually spoken about this in the past, but I want to do a little recap for you. So if we think of summer, or we think of there are different climates around the world, right? Other people are going through their warmer season right now. But what I'm saying is this: wherever season you're in, when it's your beach season, it's your bikini season, as we'll say, well, that's when we want to peak. Okay. So again, I work with a lot of athletes as well, and they peak for the beginning of their season. And so again, football, American football just started. So that started in September. So what we're looking at is getting those athletes ready for the second week or so of September. That's when we need them to peak. In the US, for bikini weather, we're saying that's 4th of July weekend. Okay. So that means that's when we need to peak, and we need to stay peaked for about 2 months to 3 months, July, August, maybe a little bit into September. So now we need to work backwards. Okay, well, when we work backwards, we're going into springtime. The springtime, we are starting to lose the weight, lose the extra body fat. And the reason we're doing that is so that we're not trying to lose it when summer comes. We've already peaked at summer. Hopefully that makes sense. And again, that's why we're using periodization-based models. We're using 12-week models. So if you can start to understand this, you can say summer is a 12-week period. We'll say end of June, halfway through June, okay? July, August, a little bit in September. There's your 12 weeks, okay? Then we have the spring right before that, which is going to be our March, April, May, okay? Right around there. That's our spring season. We start to lose weight around mid-March. March 21st, I think, is around the first day of spring. That's when we're starting to lose the extra body fat. Now, if we give ourselves 12 weeks, which no one ever does, but if we just give ourselves 12 weeks, we can easily just lose a pound or 2 a week. Most people are trying to do a sprint within 2 weeks before they get to their 4th of July party. So again, if you look at this model, you don't have to start losing the weight if your goal is 2 pounds a week. You don't need to start losing that if you have 24 pounds to go until March. So it's kind of nice, right? Because it's sweater weather during the winter. And so you can also look at it that way. I'm not advocating put it on weight, but you might not always want to be in your nutrition plan or however it is. Again, work with a ton of models, and I work with a lot of bodybuilders. And believe me when I tell you, they're not on magazine cover shape except for a week or so before that shoot. They're really not. And I work with them all the time. So I'm telling you the truth. And we actually use the Dr. Ball Detox for them too, for that photo shoot. We just work it backwards. I've explained this before. If you want to type in bathing suit body diet into StephenCabral.com/podcast, I give you all this content. I tell you exactly how to do it, but we do it backwards so that we're peaking those last 2 days. But anyway, those little tricks of the trade right there. So now what happens before spring? So if spring is the weight loss and summer is the peak and just the maintenance, what do we do for the season we're in now, for the November, December, January, February? What do we do during that season? Well, that season is actually trying to boost the metabolism. You probably have never heard this before, but you don't boost your metabolism when you're trying to lose weight. I know it sounds strange. You're trying to keep your metabolism elevated, but you're not doing the same exact type of training. So let me step back a little bit so I can kind of qualify this, because I know there's a lot of health professionals out there listening to this show as well, is that if you start to reduce calories and you start to reduce your carbs and you up your cardio, hopefully you tuned into yesterday's show. That's why every single day, please tune into the Cabral Concept. And I just try, because I try to add so much information. I only have so many minutes with you per day. And again, I could talk for hours. I don't know if you want to listen to me for hours, but here's the thing is that when you start to increase cardio, reduce calories, reduce carbs, you start to slow thyroid. So we have to be careful with this. How do we boost thyroid? How do we boost metabolism? Well, we actually increase good quality carbs. It's, believe it or not, that will actually boost metabolism because it reworks, rebalances leptin and ghrelin. And if you've never heard about those fat burning hormones, type in leptin into StephenCabral.com/podcast. Again, trying to get the point across. I've done shows on all these things and they will teach you how to boost your leptin levels so you burn more body fat. Okay, so here's the thing. If we're not starving ourselves during the winter season and we have at least 2 strength training days, let me repeat that. I know there's a lot of people out there right now doing a lot of spin classes, a lot of bar classes, a lot of boot camps, and I love them. I don't have any issue with them at all. I love all forms of exercise. I really do. And even though I give CrossFit a really hard time, I love CrossFit too. I really do. All I'm trying to do is get people steered in the right direction. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do. I love all forms of diets. It's the reason I go crazy reading all these books. I just love it. I love all the information. I love where people are coming from. And I'll tell you this right now, 99 out of 100 people have really good intentions. Yes, there's one online marketer out of every 100 that's just literally, as my grandmother used to say, selling you a load of baloney. But the truth is, people are just trying to help. They're just not working with the full deck of information. So they're kind of giving you an all-for-one approach. But what I'm telling you right now is only strength training, only pushing your body to a certain limit for 8 to 12 repetitions or so. And again, there's variation within that from 5 to 15 or so. You have to push your body to its limit for one particular set in order to boost your metabolism. You really do. You can't do it through 1,000 repetitions. It's not going to work that way. Yes, you will feel sore, but you're not going to get the same metabolic boost. You need to actually change. You need to break down bone and you need to break down muscle. And I know that sounds violent, but these are called micro tears. And when they rebuild stronger. That's how we stave off osteoporosis. That's how we stave off sarcopenia, okay? So important. Women, especially women, but men as well, but especially women, lose 5 pounds per decade after around the age of 25. It doesn't sound like much, but literally, by the time you get to 70, you're going to be 25 pounds minimum less muscle. And I know that seems like a lot, but your body doesn't have a ton of muscle on in the first place. It most likely has less than 75 pounds of muscle on your body. If you really look at it, and again, you can do body fat caliper measurements, not counting water weight as well. It's so important to look at that. It's just vitally important and it just sneaks up on you. So 2 days a week of strength training, and there's no better time of the year to do it than winter time. Because I know that during the summertime and late spring, you're going to be boosting up your cardio. You're going to be doing more intervals and you're going to be doing more maybe spin and you're going to be doing some circuits in your weight training. And I love that. And I do the same exact thing for my body transformation clients as well. And so does my entire team. However, that's not going to build you the muscle that you need. And women, you need this as well because muscle is going to help boost your testosterone. It's going to help boost your endorphins. It's going to help boost your metabolism overall. And believe me, you are not going to bulk up. Trust me. And you're going to lose a little bit of muscle as you're trying to shred down for the spring and summer. So trust me on this. It's vitally important. Every pound of muscle you can get is your best friend. You need it. It's going to boost that metabolism. So, and again, it happens very, very gradually as well. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to do at least 2 days a week, a Monday and a Thursday, or a Tuesday and a Friday, or a Wednesday and a Saturday. See how I'm just spacing them out. Pick your favorite days. Just try to keep them at least 3 days apart. What you're going to do is you're going to pick 5 or 6 exercises, both upper and lower body, and they're going to be big lifts, okay? We're not going to do bicep curls. You've heard, again, tune back in. Last Thursday's show is called How to Ice the Cake on Your Workouts. You can still do your fun exercises like your biceps, your abs, your triceps, all those things, but go back and listen to episode 622 on how to do those and when in your workout to do them. Because right now, I need you to focus, yes, on the squats. You've heard me say it before, the deadlifts, the remaining deadlifts, the lunges, the step-ups, the presses overhead and forward for a chest press and the pull downs and the rows. Okay, yes, you need to focus on those, but they can't be with the lightweight. They can't be. And I'll tell you right now, you're almost wasting your time. You really are. I need you to get the most out of your workout. I don't need you to hurt yourself, and I don't need you to push yourself to some crazy limit. But if I say to you, I want you to do a 1-arm row, and I want you to go for 10 reps, I don't want you to be able to do 15 with that weight. I want you to be done at 10. That means you're on your 10th one. It was a struggle to pull up that arm. And that's how you get results. If you're doing squats, great. I don't want you to hurt yourself. You could even just do a goblet squat where you're holding a weight right in front of your chest or your chin or so. And you can even just sit down to a bench, not taking the tension off, and stand back up. That'll give you really good form. And I want you to do 10 reps. So again, if you could have done 15 with that, well, then you just shortchanged yourself. You shortchanged your metabolism. You shortchanged your body's long-term ability to burn body fat. And that will catch up with you in the spring and in the summer. That's why I'm saying right now, in the winter, change up your program. Not as many circuits, not as many boot camps, not as many spin classes. Again, I love those. I'm not trying to take business away from anybody. You can still do them. But if you're doing I know people right now who do 4 times a week of Pilates, or 4 times a week of spin, or 4 times a week of bar, 4 times a week of anything is too much. It really is. So here's the thing. Spread it out. Do more cross training. You'll get better results. 2 days a week of strength training. Yes, you could do 3, but 2 days a week for sure of strength training. Men and women. Women, it's even so much more important. I'm telling you right now. I know that you don't believe that, but it's the truth. So here's what I want you to do. Next week, you're not going to do it this week, but next week, I want you to plan it out. Where are you going to be able to do it? Are you going to buy some adjustable dumbbells? Are you going to buy a kettlebell? Are you going to join a gym? Are you going to hire a personal trainer? I want you to map it out, and I want you to pick 2 days a week. Even if you can only give me 2, and then you can do your other days like as a home workout, I'm good with that. I'm totally fine with it. You can do intervals on your other days, but I want 2 days a week. I want a Monday and Thursday. If you could do that, I would be ecstatic with that. If you can do a Wednesday and Saturday, well, that's fantastic as well, because a lot of people have a cheat meal Saturday night, or they go out drinking, and that, again, would help to boost the metabolism, help to soak up some of that sugar when you have that cheat meal as well. So just think about it. If you want bonus points, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, that's fantastic as well. I know I might be pushing it too much right there, but if you have any questions to this, just let me know. You can go to stevecabral.com/ask Cabral. That is where I answer all of our community's questions each and every weekend. We're about 3 weeks or so behind, but we will absolutely get to all of your questions. If this show helped, I'm really grateful. I feel fantastic about that. Super happy. That's why I do this show. And what I want you to do is I just want you to share this show with anyone you believe it could help. Take care, everyone.
Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing, and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests, or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.